So we're going to talk about Skyslope today. Skyslope is our transaction management software. Really awesome, very, very intuitive, super easy to use. So before you get a login from Skyslope, they're going to make you watch a webinar. I highly recommend you watching that webinar just because in 25 minutes, it'll basically show you how to do everything. If you don't get everything from that, I will show you a button that is the most unbelievable button. By the way, your dashboard is going to probably look a lot different than mine because I have everybody's files here. So you're going to go to support. There's a little button for support. And if you go to right here, chat support, they usually answer literally within 60 to 90 seconds. It's unbelievable. So, and they are 24/7. So if you have a Skyslope emergency, again, I don't know what a Skyslope emergency really would be, but if you have a Skyslope emergency at 3 in the morning, they should be available to answer your question. So really super easy. Plus, if you do the support, the chat support, I think you can actually print it or email the transcript if you need it for any reason, but they're awesome. So going back in here, let's talk about some stuff. So your dashboard, again, is going to look a little bit different. We will, on this video, kind of just go through things really, really quickly. As kind of a rudimentary. Again, watch the webinar, ask questions from them. It's super easy. So let's go create a listing. So let's create a listing. Go to create listing. For fun, we are going to create, that's my name. So I'll be the listing agent. We will create Sydney and I's address for a listing because we're apparently selling the house. No, we're not. It is a listing. We're going to sell it for $3 million because that's what homes in Picola Ranch are worth, right? We are going to not take. We're going to, going to do 3% for us and 3% for somebody else. Great. We're going to list it today, and we're going to expire it in 6 months. Right, super easy. When was the property built? Our house was built in 1997. What is the source? This is the fun part for all of us. The source was obviously anything. If it's me, personal, you can, in anything that's weird or different, you can do other. And we can do personal transaction. Don't recommend you doing a personal transaction, but we'll talk about that later. Next question, first name of the owner. So technically the owner is a family trust. We'll talk about that. You all should have property in trusts, but Sydney Zahler, I think I'm on property title. Kidding. Do me. And then that would be it. Next question. Does that look right? Boom. Create your listing. Super easy, right? And the best part about this, when you're doing listing documentation, we've got a checklist for you of all the items that you probably will need for the actual listing. Now, this is just a listing. This is not the sale part of the listing. So you've got a duties owed that's required. You're going to need to attach it. If you have a secondary page, if applicable, you'll attach it. The listing agreement, the residential disclosure guide, the consent to act, if applicable, the SRPD filled out by the seller, the mold notice and waiver. Those are all required, you can see. Now, lead-based paint we know is only if the house is built 77 and newer, so obviously here it would not be applicable. And was there a referral fee? Or, are you paying did you have to pay a referral fee? If so, I'd like to have that referral agreement attached right away. So assuming you have all this stuff in here, boom, right? Great job. You are good to go. Now, show you how to add stuff. Now, obviously, there's nothing in here that we would have it, but you can basically click attach, and then you could upload documents. Notice the other thing. Every single transaction you do is going to have an email that's automatically created for it, right? See that right there? Really awesome. So you can actually go, say like you have stuff that's signed in your email address rather than logging into Skyslope, going to the checklist, clicking update or upload. You could simply create an email, address it to this address, whatever the address is for your house, and literally send the documents via email. Then you log into your Skyslope, you go to your checklist, and then it's already there for you. So it basically is already uploaded the stuff for you, which is great. You just need to assign it. Super easy, right? So that's really great. You don't have to do it all at once. So say like you have the duties owed, blah, blah, blah. Now you should have all this signed together, of course, but sometimes you can't. You can go back in. So I'm not going to hit accepted contract because I don't want to deal with this. I'm going to have to delete this one anyway. Let's go back. So say like you're now working with a buyer, right? I'm going to make this up now. So manage transactions. Here's the ones we got going on. You got a new transaction you want to enter. So you're going to go up. This is so transaction would be if you're representing a buyer. Go to create transaction. A little bit different. So search for address. Let's see if 9749 Northern Dancer comes up. And it does. Agent, you're going to put your own name down. Obviously, it should be the only thing it gives you a chance to. MLS number, if there is an MLS number, great. If not, just put a bunch of zeros. The sales price, we said was $3 million. Pretty awesome. The source was, on this one, was other. So we're going to pretend it's the same thing. Office lead, yes or no. Oh, other details, personal. Office lead. If this was a lead that was provided by us, I would put yes. If it was a lead that you provided, I would put no. So we'll say office lead, no. The estimated closing date, we'll say we're going to close at the end of the month for fun. All that stuff. Type, this was a... We'll pretend, I know we just use the same address as we did before, but let's just pretend it is a listing or a sale, right? So listing sold would be if you're representing the seller. Sale would be if you're representing the buyer. So it'd be sale. Year built 1997. If you have the escrow number, you can put that in there. In the acceptance date, we will put today's date. Last thing you're going to do, up here, checklist type. You're going to want to, we have create a checklist for you. So all you have to do on this one, it was your buyer, you're representing the buyer. Boom. And let's hit next. Now, the only reason this happened is because we already have that address in there. Let's just click, we'll continue to pretend it's a different buyer's agent for it. So again, you see an address was created. Now this is a different this is a different email address than the last one, which is good. That way they differentiate. Here's where you can put all the information in. You should get this from the contract. So Sydney Zahler. You don't have to put everything in. Obviously, where the asterisks are, you have to click save. Purchaser, we're gonna say this one was purchased by Mackenzie Zahler, and her number is 775-555-1212. Click save. Title and escrow. Let's see if you can get away with having it. It won't let me, unfortunately. Let's see if I probably can get away with it by just, nope, I got to put this in. So closing officer name, Jane Doe, Jane COE, Jane close of escrow, 773-555-1212, your title at your title. Okay. Save. And agent representing the other party. This is listing agent 702-555-1212, and their company is called ABC Properties. Good. Hitting save, then we can hit submit. Put more information in. You are going to be paid 3 bananas on this one, which is great. I think that's the only thing that is required. Now, if you want to put other stuff in here, you're more than welcome to. All that fun stuff. And hit submit. Here you go. You now have your checklist for all the things you are going to need as the buyer's agent. Okay? Again, remember, email address so you can email stuff. So required is what's required. Obviously, if you have a buyer's brokerage agreement, great, attach it. If you have their pre-approval or proof of funds, which you should have one or the other or both, you're going to want to attach it. I didn't make that a required field because sometimes we don't see it, but we should have it, right? Plus, you can't make both of them required because if you say the pre-approval is required and they're paying cash, there's no such thing. So you're going to want one or the other. Purchase agreement and duties owed, absolutely 100% required. You're going to want, once the deal actually gets into contract, you're going to want to send in the screenshot of the MLS. You're going to want to show the EMD receipt. You're going to want to show the buyer's escrow information, prelim, all that fun stuff, right? Going backwards, going up here a little bit, more things that you may or may not have. Obviously, there may not have been a counter, but if there are counters, you got to put those in there. There's room for at least 4 addendums, room for an incoming referral agreement if you took one. More, and then again, all this rest of it, as you can see, it's kind of a long list, but this list is kind of in order of when you should expect it. So anything that's required, you're gonna need to have it attached. And if for some reason you don't have it, have a conversation with the management team here and explain why you don't have it or what's in place of it. So this is not a perfect exact list, but this is definitely kind of a list of in order of when things happen to guide you through the transaction, right? As you can see, last thing on the list is going to be your closing package from escrow after the commissions instructions and the MLS sheet showing it's closed. Hopefully we don't get to here where there's the cancellation of purchase agreement. Same thing, you would attach the same way or you email, but there you go. That is how you work on a buyer side. So if you go back in, say like you have that, you just created it. Now you want to manage your transactions. If we go to manage transactions right here, let's see, scroll down, Northern Dancer, that was the one. So say like you started it, you open it, you leave it for a day or two, you come back, you'd want to go to your manage transactions. You can click here and go straight into your checklists. You can also go to documents, but again, that's more in the webinar thing, but checklists, super easy to update. When things are reviewed, you'll get notifications that you're missing certain things, or maybe the file you thought was fully signed may is missing a signature. We can notify you on that kind of stuff too. So go back up here. And yeah, that's really how you do it. If you want to click your incomplete checklist, this will show you what you're missing for all your files. Working documents, same kind of thing. But again, that's really all you really need to know. The dashboard's really more for me. And again, the help button is the big help button. So that is Skyslope.